isn't delivering anything to your doorstep while you're sitting on your couch watching reruns. You got to get up and go get it. That vision board on your wall is beautiful. I'm sure it's inspiring, but if that's all you're doing, you're just looking at pretty pictures. I see people all the time who talk a big game about what they're going to do. They're going to start a business. They're going to write a book. They're going to get in shape. They're going to change their lives. But 5 years later, they're still talking about the same thing. They haven't moved an inch. They're still in the exact same spot, having the exact same conversations with the same broke mindset. Dreams are supposed to be the starting point, not the finish line. They're supposed to ignite something in you that makes you move. But most people treat their dreams like a bedtime story, something nice to think about before they drift off to sleep. That's not what winners do. Winners take that dream and turn it into a plan. Then they take that plan and turn it into action. You want to know why most people never achieve anything? It's because they confuse thinking about success with actually working towards success. They think fantasizing is the same as strategizing. They think wishing is the same as working. It's not. There's a massive difference between the person who dreams about opening a restaurant and the person who's actually in the kitchen learning recipes, studying business plans, and saving money. Every single day you spend just dreaming is a day wasted. Every single moment you spend talking about what you're going to do instead of doing it is a moment you'll never get back. Time doesn't care about your dreams. Time keeps moving whether you're moving with it or not. And while you're sitting there dreaming, someone else with half your talent and twice your work ethic is out there achieving. So here's what I need you to do. Take that dream and break it down into steps. Real, actionable, practical steps. Then start taking those steps today, not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Not when the conditions are perfect today. Because a dream without action isn't a goal. It's just a fantasy. And fantasies don't pay bills. Fantasies don't build legacies. Fantasies don't change lives. You're sitting in that same spot, doing the same things, hanging with the same people who aren't going anywhere, and you're wondering why your life looks the same as it did 5 years ago. Stop playing yourself. Growth requires discomfort. Progress requires you to stretch beyond what feels safe and familiar. But most people would rather stay comfortable and miserable than be uncomfortable and grow. Let me tell you something about comfort. It's seductive. It whispers to you every morning. Stay in bed a little longer. Skip the workout today. You can start that project next week. One more episode won't hurt. Comfort convinces you that tomorrow is always a better day to start than today. And before you know it, weeks turn into months, months turn into years, and you've built an entire life around avoiding discomfort. The people you admire, the ones who are actually living the life you dream about, made a decision a long time ago. They decided that temporary discomfort was worth permanent improvement. They said yes to the hard conversations. They said yes to the early mornings. They said yes to the challenges that scared them. While you were choosing comfort, they were choosing growth. Your comfort zone feels safe because it's familiar. You know what to expect there. There are no surprises, no challenges, no risks. But there's also no transformation. You cannot become a new person by continuing to do the same old things. You cannot level up your life while staying on the same level. It doesn't work that way. You want different results. You got to do other things. Think about every major accomplishment in your life. I guarantee it happened outside your comfort zone. The first time you spoke in public. The first time you started a new job. The first time you invested in yourself. All of those moments were uncomfortable. But they were also the moments that defined you. They were the moments that proved to you that you were capable of more than you thought. Every day you stay comfortable is a day you're choosing not to grow. And I get it, growth is scary. It means risking failure. It means looking stupid sometimes. It means admitting you don't know everything. It means being a beginner again. But you know what's scarier than all of that? Waking up 10 years from now in the same place you are right now. So step out of that comfort zone. Do something today that makes you a little nervous. Have that difficult conversation. Apply for that position. Start that project. Take that class. Make that investment. Because the magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. And the work you're avoiding is always just outside your comfort zone. Let me tell you something. I'd rather try and fail 100 times than never try at all. You know why? Because failure teaches you something. Sitting on the couch teaches you nothing except what's streaming this month. Failure gives you feedback. Failure shows you what doesn't work, so you can figure out what does. Inaction gives you nothing but regret. People are so afraid of failing that they never even start. They're so worried about what might go wrong that they never give themselves a chance to see what could go right. They spend their whole lives protecting themselves from failure. And in doing so, they protect themselves right out of success. That's backwards thinking. That's fear running your life instead of faith. You know what failure really is? It's information. It's data. It's a teacher who doesn't charge tuition. Every failure shows you something about yourself, your approach, your market, your strategy. But only if you're actually out there trying, only if you're in the arena. You can't learn from failures you never experienced because you never tried. Look at anyone successful in any field. Business, sports, entertainment, anything. They've failed more times than most people have even tried. They've been rejected more times than most people have applied. They've fallen more times than most people have stood up. But they kept going. They understood that failure isn't final unless you stop trying. Inaction, on the other hand, is the real killer of dreams. Inaction is sitting on the sidelines of your own life. Inaction is watching opportunities pass by because you're too scared to reach for them. Inaction is that voice in your head that says, wait, not yet, maybe later, probably never. And inaction compounds just like action does. The more you practice doing nothing, the better you get at it. The saddest people I've ever met aren't the ones who tried and failed. They're the ones who never tried at all. They're the ones sitting around talking about what they could have done, should have done, would have done if only. If only they had more money. If only they had more time. If only they had more support. If only they had been braver. Those if only statements are the soundtrack of a life lived in inaction. So fail. Fail forward. Fail fast. Fail often. But whatever you do, don't fail to try. Don't let inaction steal your potential. Don't let fear of failure rob you of the life you're meant to live. Because at the end of your life, you won't regret the things you tried and failed at. You'll regret the things you never tried at all. There is no perfect time. You think successful people waited until everything was perfect. No, they started messy, they started scared, they started broke, but they started. The perfect time is right now. Not next month when you have more money. Not next year when you have more experience. Right now, with exactly what you have. This is one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves. I'll start when I have enough money saved. I'll start when the kids are older. I'll start when I finish this other thing. I'll start when the economy is better. I'll start when I feel more confident. Meanwhile, years are flying by, and you're still waiting for conditions that may never come. Perfect conditions don't exist. There's always going to be something. There's always going to be a reason to wait. There's always going to be something that's not quite right. If you wait for perfect, you'll wait forever. The people who are winning right now didn't have perfect conditions. They had the same doubts, the same fears, the same obstacles you have. The difference is that they started anyway. You know what happens when you wait for the perfect time? Life happens. Responsibilities pile up. More obligations appear. More reasons to wait emerge. That gap between where you are and where you want to be gets wider and wider. And the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start, because now you've built up this huge story in your head about how big and scary it all is. Starting before you're ready is actually a competitive advantage. While everyone else is waiting for perfection, you're learning, growing, improving. You're making mistakes and correcting them. You're building experience. By the time they decide to start, you're already miles ahead. You're already seasoned. You're already in the game. The truth is, you're never going to feel completely ready. There's never going to be a moment where everything aligns perfectly and a voice from heaven says, now is the time. That moment doesn't exist. You create the right time by starting. You create momentum by taking action. You create opportunity by stepping out even when you don't feel prepared. Some of the most successful businesses started in garages. Some of the most influential books were written in stolen moments between other responsibilities. Some of the greatest achievements came from people who had every reason to wait, but decided to start anyway. Stop waiting for perfect and start working with what you have where you are, right now. Let me be real with you. Excuses are comfortable. They let you off the hook. They permit you to stay where you are. They allow you to blame external circumstances instead of taking responsibility for your life. But here's the thing. Every excuse you make is a choice. You're choosing the excuse over the effort. You're choosing the story over the success. I've seen people with every advantage fail. I've seen people with every disadvantage succeed. You know what the difference was? The successful ones refused to let their circumstances define their outcomes. They refused to accept their current reality as their permanent reality. They looked at their obstacles and said, this is what I'm working with. Now how do I move forward? Your excuses might be valid. I'm not saying your challenges aren't real, but other people have had the same challenges and overcome them. Other people started with less than you have and built more than you can imagine. So while your excuse might be valid, it's not unique. And it's definitely not a good enough reason to give up on yourself. The story you tell yourself about why you can't becomes the ceiling on what you will. If you keep telling yourself you can't because of this reason or that reason, you're programming your brain to look for confirmation of that story. You'll find evidence everywhere that supports your excuse. Your brain will work overtime to prove you right, and you'll stay stuck. But what if you change the story? What if instead of focusing on what you don't have, you focused on what you do have? What if instead of listing reasons why you can't, you started brainstorming ways that you could? What if you took all that energy you put into explaining why it's impossible and redirected it toward figuring out how to make it possible? Nobody's coming to save you from your excuses. Nobody's going to hand you a life free of obstacles. The question isn't whether you have challenges. Everyone does. The question is whether you're going to let those challenges be your excuse or your motivation. Are they going to be the reason you quit or the reason you fight harder? When you start chasing your goals for real, people are going to think you've lost your mind. Let them think it. While they're laughing, you're building. While they're doubting, you're growing. Their opinions don't pay your bills. Their doubts don't determine your destiny. Their limited vision of what's possible for you has nothing to do with what you're actually capable of. Here's what happens when you start moving differently. The people around you get uncomfortable, not because you're doing anything to them, but because your growth highlights their stagnation. Your courage exposes their fear. Your action makes their excuses look like what they are, excuses. So they try to pull you back down. They try to convince you to be realistic. They try to protect you from disappointment. But really, they're trying to protect themselves from feeling bad about their own choices. You're going to have family members who don't get it, friends who think you're wasting your time, co-workers who say you're being irresponsible, people who knew you back when who can't see you as anything more than who you used to be. And if you let their opinions dictate your actions, you'll stay right where they are, stuck. The people who criticize your dreams are usually the ones who gave up on their own. The people who tell you it's impossible are usually the ones who stopped trying. The people who say you're being unrealistic are usually the ones who settled for less than they wanted. Don't take advice from people who aren't where you want to be. Don't let people who quit talk you out of continuing. Looking crazy is part of the process. Every successful person looked crazy at some point. People thought they were dreaming too big, reaching too far, taking too many risks, being too ambitious. But they did it anyway. They were willing to be misunderstood. They were willing to be doubted. They were willing to stand alone if that's what it took. You have to develop a tolerance for other people's opinions. You have to build a thick skin. You have to get to a place where what you know about yourself is louder than what other people think about you. Because the truth is, most people aren't thinking about you that much anyway. They're too busy with their own lives. And the ones who are spending time criticizing you, they're just revealing their own insecurities. So yes, chase that goal that seems too big. Start that business everyone thinks will fail. Make that career change that doesn't make sense to anyone else. Invest in that dream that only you can see. Be willing to look crazy now so you can live amazingly later. Because the same people who doubt you now will be asking for your secrets later. You're not going to feel motivated every day. Some days you're going to wake up and feel like trash. But discipline shows up regardless of how you feel. Discipline is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are unreliable. They come and go like the weather. Discipline is a decision. It's a commitment you make to yourself that you keep whether you feel like it or not. Everybody wants to be motivated. They watch videos, they read quotes, they pump themselves up. And that's great for getting started. But motivation alone won't get you to the finish line. You know what will. Showing up on the days when you don't want to. Doing the work when it's boring. Staying consistent when nobody's watching. That's discipline. The most successful people aren't the most motivated. They're the most disciplined. They've built systems and habits that carry them forward, even when their motivation is at zero. They don't wait to feel like it. They do it because it's what they committed to do. They understand that discipline is doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done, whether you want to do it or not. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Motivation is the spark. Discipline is the fuel. You need both, but if you had to choose one, choose discipline every time, because discipline will produce results even on your worst days. Discipline will keep you in the game when motivation would have you quit. Building discipline is like building a muscle. It's hard at first. It requires effort. It's uncomfortable. But the more you practice it, the stronger it gets. The more you choose discipline over convenience, the easier it becomes. Eventually, discipline becomes your default. It becomes who you are, not just what you do. Think about the goals you've set and quit. I bet you started motivated. You were excited. You were pumped up. You told everyone what you were going to do. But a few weeks in, when the excitement wore off, when it got hard, when it got boring, that motivation disappeared. And because you didn't have discipline to fall back on, you quit. That's the pattern most people repeat over and over. Break that pattern by building discipline. Start small. Make commitments you can keep. Then keep them, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Every time you follow through when you don't feel like it, you're building your discipline muscle. You're proving to yourself that you're someone who finishes what you start. And that identity, that reputation you build with yourself, that's what carries you to success. I don't care where you came from. I don't care what happened to you. I don't care who told you that you weren't good enough. That was then. This is now. You have the power to write a completely different story starting today. Your past is not your prison unless you choose to stay locked up in it. So many people are living in their past. They're still